Have you ever driven around the Irish countryside and take note of all the machines that's working in the fields or on the road or in a yard or wherever they are, and thought to yourself, how much of that is actually made in Ireland? How much of that machinery is made in Ireland? Well, a lot of it, a lot more than you think, is actually produced in Ireland. And in this short video, we're going to look at my top 10 Irish farm machinery manufacturers. Welcome back to the Agri-Motive Farm Machinery YouTube channel. So today we're going to take a quick breeze through my top 10 Irish farm machinery manufacturers. Now, when you look at Ireland, we're a small island nation. I suppose down through the years, we do have a very rich heritage of producing our own farm machinery because we are an island nation. You don't want to be relying on exports, so we were very good at manufacturing and producing from the days of Pierce down in Wexford years ago to the big massive operations that we have today. We always punched above our weight when it came to manufacturing of farm machinery. So number 10 on my list is Tanco. Now, I'm sure everybody's pretty much familiar with Tanco. Tanco have been on the go a long time, hailing from Bagenalstown in Carlow. They're very famous, I suppose, for their bale wrappers, both square and round, bale shears, bale grabs, mowers, and then feeders for root crop and stuff like that. So they hail from Bagenalstown in Carlow, a fantastic Irish company. Moving on then to number 9, I have on my list Samco. Now, not everybody is going to be familiar with Samco, but those who would be maybe involved in the beat and stuff like that would know them. They're in Adare in County Limerick, and Samco have been on the go since the mid-1990s. They've over 50 staff. They export to over 25 countries. What they are mainly famous for producing is seed drills for planting maize, and then the protective layer that goes on top of it. So that biodegradable layer of film that goes on top of it. So they also manufacture field lifters, disc harrows, silage forks, bale trailers, and then the actual mulch itself, the actual mulch film itself. And it's interesting that of all the machinery that Samco make, 80% of their turnover comes from the film. Because I suppose when you sell a machine, you have it sold and that's it, gone. But the mulch is a continuous, year on year on year. You have to keep buying that film, that mulch, that biodegrades into the soil the next year when it's been ploughed. So that's Samco. Then number 8 on my list, I have Keenan. So Keenan, All Tech Group. Keenan again are down in Carlow. They will be a huge company. Making famous for their diet feeders, dung spreaders, mixers, so mixers for mixing feedstuffs and dietary feed for animals. And then it's also used to have an industrial side of their mixers, so they would be used in the biogas industry and composting and bedding, and in the equine industry and stuff like that as well. So Keenan, another huge company from Carlow, exporting all over the globe. That's number 8. So number 7, we're gone to trailers now. So Broghan trailers, I suppose they're quite famous now with the silage men. The potato men would use them a lot as well. The flatbed trailers for their potato boxes. Again, coming from Carlow. So they're a young enough company, 15 years old. Trailers, grain and silage trailers, root crop trailers, bale trailers, cattle trailers, dumpers, and low loaders. And they also would make a bespoke trailer. So if you wanted something unique, something one-off, maybe for the forestry or some forestry industry to a specific size, they will make it for you. So they're a relatively new company, but they have amassed a great reputation in the last 15 years as manufacturers of top quality trailers. So number 6 on my list, then we're moving to the west of the country, County Mayo, and it's Malone Engineering. So Malone Engineering have been on the go for about 20 years. Malone, I think the owner, Mike Malone, he's a former engineer with another well-known manufacturer in the Mayo area. that we'll be talking about later on. And yeah, Malone would be famous for making mowers, tethers, log splitters, post drivers, toppers. And they would have an excellent reputation. Again, they would be distributing all over the world. New Zealand, South Africa, America, and of course all over Ireland, out of their factory in Ballyglass in County Mayo. And they're a company that have gone from strength to strength over the last 20 years. So yeah, another fantastic company. After that then, number 5 on the list, I have another trailer manufacturer, and we're back to Carlow again. Now I promise this video is not a promotional video for Carlow Enterprise Office or Chamber of Commerce. Just whatever it is about that area, I'm sure there's some historical geographical reasons that whole Carlow area is synonymous with engineering and manufacturing. So if you're a welder, if you sell steel, if you're an engineer, I suppose there's plenty of jobs in the Carlow area. So Smith trailers, again, very, very popular trailers. Would be seen a lot down in Australia, New Zealand, all over the world. Set up in the mid-1990s again by Clive and Sam Smith. So famous for, silage trailers, the root crop trailers, grain trailers, tri-axle trailers, dump trailers, any type of trailers. Smith again would have a huge reputation of making fantastic equipment. On again from that, number 4 is a company that is out of Kildare. So we're moving to Kildare this time. Cross Engineering in Rathangan in County Kildare. So those that aren't familiar with Cross was set up by Simon Cross, I think the late 1980s, I would say. I know I was down in the Cross factory probably not long after he had set up. I think the first pieces of equipment that he made were furrow presses for the front of tractors. And I do remember in the late 80s or early 90s going down with my dad to visit Simon and his factory to collect a new furrow press. So they would have started out with that. Then they would have got into beat equipment. So beat washers, beat stoners, beat choppers, and they would export a lot to the UK. Now, not so much in Ireland, because the beet industry here, as we know, is pretty much non-existent. Beet harvesters, beet loaders, and those washers and that, they are used in other variation of those washers that beet equipment is used in other industries as well. They make a full suite of slurry equipment, tankers, trailing shoes, dribble bars, muck spreaders, agitators, then onto their tillage equipment, ring rollers, furrow presses, scarifiers, and then the big triaxle chaser bin that I had the pleasure of filling on a few occasions when we had one out on trial. Fertilizer bogies, so that's a bogie that your fertilizer spreader would sit on top of, and then you pull it instead of carrying it on the tractor. And then grain dryers as well. So when I started looking, I was obviously very familiar with Cross, but I actually didn't realise that they had such a wide suite of products. A fantastic company. So after that then, for industrial, they would have road washers, sludge tankers, dust suppression tankers, diesel bowsers, and they also do a post driver. So a little bit of everything from Simon and the lads in Cross in Kildare, another fantastic Irish company who are, I think they're exhibiting again in Agritechnique in the next week. So that's number 4, Cross Engineering. So we'll move on then to my number 3. Who do I have at number 3? High Spec Engineering, again in, yes, you've guessed it, Bagenstown in County Carlow. High Spec Engineering was set up in 1988. Very famous for their compactor trailers, slurry tankers, agitators, dyed feeders, dribble bars, macerators, dung spreaders, manure spreaders, and their dump trailers as well. A company that's on the go a long, long time. And of course, I think everyone in Ireland, pretty much every dairy farmer in Ireland has probably had a high spec machine of some sort down through the years. Fantastic equipment. So that's at number 3. And of course, high spec then all over the globe. So Ireland, UK, Europe, New Zealand, South Africa. Yeah, New Zealand would be big buyers of Irish farm equipment. I suppose because when you look at New Zealand, there are a lot of Irish people in New Zealand. There are a lot of Irish people working on farms in New Zealand and managing farms in New Zealand. We have, a lot of similarities between the two countries. And then there's a lot of Irish in Australia as well. So I suppose they do, it does help the Irish engineering industry when you have people who are of Irish or Irish descent in New Zealand or Australia that are able to buy up these products. Number two, then, a massive company, Toomevara, County Tipperary, set up by the Kavanagh family in 1947. That's Abbey Machinery. Abbey Machinery, probably the oldest on the list that I have. A massive company that work out of the Kavanagh Foundry that was in operation since the 1800s. Can you imagine? Yeah. So 100,000 square foot facility down in Toomevara in County Tipperary. So Abbey, what do they do? Well, they have a huge suite of machinery, as you can imagine. Again, slurry tankers, spreaders, flail side spreaders, slurry pumps. Again, your trailing shoes, your dribble bars, your band spreaders, disc injection, and then they make a range of stuff for cereal application. So if you're putting like a slurry onto a cereal crop, dyed feeders, then toppers and fertilizer spreaders. So yeah, Abbey, huge company in at number two since 1947. So pushing on for getting near the 100 years, or well, 80 years anyway. Massive company. And then the last one on my list, and I suppose it comes as no surprise, number one is McHale. So McHale out of Ballinrobe in County Mayo. So yeah, back over to the west again. Now I had the pleasure of having a factory tour in McHale over a year ago, probably a year and a half ago now, and I was actually blown away by what I see. I did not realize it was so big. It's huge. So the raw steel comes in from raw steel straight through to the product out the other end. The way everything flows around the factory, everything is obviously automated from the cutting presses straight through to the welding, fabricating, onto the jigs, paint, assembly, then your electronics, your hydraulics, everything, testing, their R&D section. It's just a fantastic facility. I think they employ well over 300 people in the Ballinrobe area. McHale obviously worldwide, so all over America, Australia, New Zealand, Europe-wide. So yeah, what are they famous for? Well, obviously their balers, their fixed and variable chamber balers are synonymous worldwide for being reliable. Their wrappers, the wrapper I think was probably the first piece of equipment that the two, Porrick and Martin McHale, had made in the mid 1980s. The 991, I think it was, I'm not sure, but anyway, the wrapper was probably the first. So your mowers, your tethers, your rakes, silage feeders, then your straw blower as well. But obviously the one product that made them famous worldwide was the Fusion. So, or Fusion 4 now, whatever it is. Fantastic piece of kit, obviously, very famous worldwide, and that has what really driven the company on. 90% of their products go for the export market into 55 different countries. So yeah, that's McHale at number one. So look, that's it. Yeah, so I suppose you could give a shout out. I could have made a list of 10 trailer manufacturers alone. I know I've missed some companies. It's impossible to include everyone, but you would have a shout out there for Red Rock and NC, Fleming as well, Dramone Engineering, that make hitches and stuff like that for tractors and stuff. But yeah, that's it. So if anyone has anything to say in the comments about any of these companies, if you work for any of these companies, give us a shout out. And that is it. So just enjoy your bank holiday weekend, and we'll see you all in the next one. Thanks.